directly affected by the bedroom tax. I'm also a member of the All Scotland Anti-Bedroom Tax Federation, which I believe is your purpose to be here today, to get your own one up and running. Over the last few years, disabled people have been vilified, labelled as scroungers and skivers, whilst being subjected to over 30 different benefit cuts, including the humiliating ATOS assessment. I've been subjected to the ATOS assessment, and I can assure you it has nothing to do with my ability to work. What it does have to do with is everything to do with is keeping you frightened and keeping you worried about they're going to take my money from me. So the main thing is pushing fear and humiliation. That was the one thing that I took away from it was. I mean, honest to God, I said to the guy, I was waiting for the birthday dance to start because he was, can you do this, can you do, it was total nonsense. So for many disabled people, the bedroom tax has became the final straw. Just want to talk briefly a wee bit about the reality of the bedroom tax. The loss of up to 25% of housing benefit, and this is the tipping point for many families and individuals who've already been challenged with benefit cuts, rising food prices and ever-increasing utility bills. And the reality is, if you're deemed fit for work, you get approximately £280 a month to live on. If you're unfortunate enough to have 2 spare rooms, this means that you lose up to £80 a month in housing benefit. You could be the best money manager in the world, and you couldn't do it. They're asking people to do the impossible, 80% of the people that are affected by this tax are disabled people, and as I've mentioned, that this is just part of a raft of an ideological attack against disabled people, but I'm sure Roger's going to fill you in and all of that. It's also important to note, though, that 50% of the people that claim housing benefit are people who are actually in employment. However, they're on such disgracefully low wages that they have to, housing benefit is a means-tested benefit. You only get housing benefit if you're poor, so to attack housing benefit is madness, right? So along with further welfare reforms like universal credit, is set to cause chaos and misery for the most vulnerable in our society. The state tell us that they need to do it because they need to reduce the welfare bill, and they're going to reduce the welfare bill by 500 million by introducing the bedroom tax. On the same week, I think, if not the same day, they introduced a tax cut for the top, however many millionaires, which added to 610 million. It was the same state in the same week that was happy to spend 10 million burying a despicable warmonger called Thatcher. Some of you might remember her, I know she's in my memory. The same state that are happy to spend 100 billion on Trident, They also, just last week, gave herself a pay rise of, I think it was 10 grand, I'm not exactly sure, All in it together. All in it together, my house. Thank you. I promised myself I wouldn't swear, and then I'm only on page 2 and I've swore already, This has got nothing to do with saving money. This is the important bit. This is a wider attack on welfare. And it's a starting point of them dismantling our welfare state. A welfare state that my parents were very proud of, and one, unfortunately, that I took for granted. It is also very important to note that this is a blatant attack on social housing. How dare they attack the idea of a family home for the working class? Our young people are no longer going to have that safety net. If life throws you a bad son, you can go back to your mammies. No anymore, because your mammy's not going to have a spare room to put you in, Disabled aunties are no longer allowed to have a wee spare room should they get really unwell, so that a family member or a friend can come and look after them, The most despicable thing about this, though, is the people that are implementing this are sitting in their spare house.
Yep.
Right? So let's just all put this into perspective. They're sitting in their spare house, scoffing their £160 a week food allowance on top of their wages, but they're so bad off they've had to give themselves an extra 10 grand, One of my friends, very, very kind friend of mine, she's not in my party, but we call her our United Front. Nicola as a teacher, and she's quite well paid and she's single, and she took me aside and she says, you know, you're a good friend, Marion, and you've worked hard in the cause, and I want to pay your bedroom tax for you. And I said, no, Nicola. I says, because it wasn't my bloody pals that caused this deficit, it was their bloody pals that caused the deficit, so their pals can fight it. So, what we're up to in Glasgow? Right, here we go. The anti-bedroom tax is a growing movement, and it's been assisted by social media. However, it's also important to note that it's a strong grassroots movement that is dominated by working class women, of which I am one, and we are the group that are being most affected by the condemned austerity measures, and I'm sick yet. Countless local meetings have been organised across the country and they've been well attended. We had a demo resulting in 8,000 individuals in George Square in Glasgow, and that is the biggest demonstration since the poll tax. We had the conference, we had a conference in Glasgow in April, and we brought folks from all over Scotland to form the Scotland Anti-Bedroom Tax Federation. We've had Govan Law Centre presenting a petition to the Scottish Parliament requesting a small change in Scots law, which would mean that the debt would be treated as normal debt, which would remove the threat of eviction. We've had to present it twice to the Parliament, and we've had to shout at a lot of men in suits outside the Parliament, but eventually we've embarrassed them enough that they've moved it to their Welfare Reform Committee. However, that involves interviewing people that are being affected by the bedroom tax, and a friend of mine put my name forward and they went, oh, we don't want any trots, you know. We don't want anybody that could maybe argue against us, you know. Also, the MPs organised a special conference around the bedroom tax. And a Labour MSP told us, we can't ask these vulnerable people to break the law. And I stood up and I said, I'm one of these vulnerable people, eh? And so far, because of my disability, you took my job. And then you took my DLA, because you knew you've decided I'm not disabled, and knew you're trying to take my house. Well, you know, I've got a clean record, but see, right now, I've got nothing to lose. And I've told them that, to their faces, you know. And see, when you have a society that's full of people with nothing to lose, that's when we have Brazil or Egypt or, you know, but let's not get too carried away. A barbecue, we're not quite imaginative up in Glasgow, up in Scotland, you know. View Park in North Lanarkshire, where they'd sent out eviction letters. People had a 4th of July barbecue where we had a ceremonial burning of eviction letters and hot dogs. The Glasgow Housing Association, we got the steward to come out, and they actually have affiliated to our federation. We've lobbied other housing associations and councils. We've encouraged the workers and the union officials to join us. This is a very important point. Do not be shouting at the council workers. You know, some of them, I know people that are working in the benefits agency who are in a situation where they should be sanctioning themselves because they're not doing enough hours. And we've got to remember these people are our class friends. And, you know, you're not going to get anywhere by shouting at a worker, you know. But encourage them to come out, you know, and encourage them to affiliate. South Lanarkshire sent out eviction letters, and they were met by such fury at the local campaign that they did a U-turn and they sent out apology letters, which was lovely, and they installed a 1-year no eviction policy. We also lobbied the Scottish Housing Association conference, and we asked for a no eviction policy to be adopted, and it had various results. Glasgow and Dundee Trades Council have affiliated to the Federation, and we even have a song. You can't have a spare room in a pokey council flat. You can get it on iTunes. I wish I'd brought some CDs with me, but you can get it on iTunes, and it's £2, and it goes straight to the cause, you know. We also have the Musicians Union in Glasgow are going through the process of affiliating to the Federation. And I just want to speak a wee bit briefly about the importance of music in the struggle. You know, it is a very good way to get people to connect their head and their heart through music, you know, so encourage your local musicians if you've got, you know, people in your local bar or whatever, any guy with a guitar, or woman, I have to say, you know, get them singing, you know, because it's important. But most importantly, You as an individual, you can start an anti-bedroom tax group, you can lobby your MP, you can go to your union, you can agitate for strike action around these inhuman welfare cuts. But most importantly, and this is the important bit, we've created an anti-eviction army with every area creating its own group, but with strong links through the Federation that mean we will create a human wall to protect the vulnerable should the sheriff be silly enough to attempt an eviction due to bedroom tax. That's where we all need to start pulling our political claws in and talking nice to each other. We've had problems in Glasgow through the Federation, but we're getting there. You know, it's the left. That's what we like to do, you know. We have a rich history of successfully organising rent strikes in Glasgow. In 1915, the working class women of Glasgow organised a collective non-payment of rent in response to unscrupulous landlords rising rents during the war. Prominent figures such as Mary Barber organised and overcame sectarian and cultural differences within our communities and created a united front of women backed by a strong trade union of the Red Clydeside. And this is also important because what actually tipped it was that the union started to threaten strike action in support of the rent strike. And that's why I'm stressing the importance of getting the unions onto our side. You know, agitating your own union to get affiliated, you know. So, I'm proud to be a member in the 21st century version of Mrs Barber's Army, and we have a wee saying, if you stand with me, I'll stand with you. And it's as simple as that, you know, because we're all Mrs Barber. Unity is the only way that we can defend our welfare state. During the poll tax, not one warrant sale was completed in Glasgow, and we're determined to keep our good reputation, and we will, by any means necessary, stop evictions due to the bedroom tax arrears. So what do you need to do, right? You need to get out into your community, you need to get out into the schemes, you need to encourage folk to get angry and get organised, chap doors, reach these vulnerable people, you know, who are predominantly women with families. Make it clear that they're no longer alone. You know, this is where I get a wee bit personal here. I've been the woman who sat there and dropped a diazepam or opened a bottle of wine or, you know, and said, how the hell am I going to get through this? The recovery community are the ones that are being hit hardest through all of this, you know. So it's important that you actually go and chap doors and make these women feel that they actually can make a difference, you know. Encourage political activism, encourage civil disobedience. Join the global fight against austerity. Let's make fair change sides from Cairo to Castlemilk. Thank you, brothers and sisters.